Hallelujah. Told Abba Yahweh for another day that we can come bold into his throne of mercy, to obtain mercy, to find his mercy, and to help in the time of need, because we need our Abba. Earthly fathers bring it forth by his will concerning the woman he desired to have at the time, and he bring forth children to replenish the earth. And Abba is something that we must understand we cannot do without. We cannot do without his breath of life. We cannot do without he ordering our step. We cannot do without prayer and supplication unto our Abba to help us, to strengthen us as man, to walk upright before him in the land of the living. And that's is something that most people don't know about the land of the living. They take it for granted, this earth, this land. And they don't see the land because they're so accustomed to going out and doing what they want to do. And they forgot the ocean, the air, the earth itself is governed and ruled by Abba Yahweh, not by man. Man can rule you, but he cannot rule his earth. He can slay you, but he cannot slay the earth. The earth has something in it that Yahweh has made to sustain the wickedness of man, because he knew what man was going to do from the beginning to his creation, to his people in his creation. And that's where we're at today. The third woe. And the third woe is dealing with the land. The land need the people to understand who need one another. We don't have that kind of understanding. You have understanding, you go to the grocery store and you need food. The food don't need you. You need the food. You have understanding that you go and buy clothes. The clothes don't need you. You need the clothes. Because the clothes can't love you back. The food can't love you back. But your Abba, Yahweh, will love you back as you love him and what he created for you to love him through. Not idols and images. Not the thing that you create with your own hand and you bow down and worship it. But you need your maker and creator of the universe to brought forth the breath of life and put it inside of you to know you're going out and coming in. And most people don't know when you go out, you're walking on Earth planet. When you're coming back in, you're still walking on the same planet you went off with, the door. You went out on planet Earth. And people want to celebrate everything else beside worshiping their creator that created all these things. The ocean, the air that you breathe, the dirt that you came from and go back to, your living soul that depart from the body, and the blood that come out of the body, and the soul leave it, return back from where it came. You're in a time of woe, and you have caused the woe to be upon you, this earth, in this earth. All nations will reap what they sow. All people that consist of the nation that dwell within that country will reap what they sow. Yahweh is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, so shall he reap. And this is the time that you have sowed forth so much evil that you can't see how evil is coming back at you and at your children, reaping what your ancestors has sowed. And now you're sowing the same thing as your forefather has sowed, and you're reaping it faster than they did. because the population has increased upon the earth. And the earth is moaning. And the earth is being polluted. And the earth is being defiled. And when the earth come to its point, the Yahweh let it bring forth its judgment upon the inhabitants thereof, you can run, but you can't hide. You can vent all these things to try and escape to somewhere else. But there's no escape from your maker and creator of the universe. There's only one. And we're in the time now we must see what's going on with our planet that was named Earth. We're in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 17 and 18. And I'm going to start here because this is the start of what I'm going to bring forth concerning the judgment that is in the earth, that is upon the people in the earth, and what they have did to the earth. The earth was good. From the beginning, it was good. Everything in it was good. It was good for man to know his maker and for his maker to put his love in man, that man can love his maker back and have a relationship, a fellowship, or walk with him. That she, the woman, can see the goodness of her creator in the land of the living. How she brings forth goodness by other children coming forth out of her womb. That they can see they only needed was a shelter and clothes. The food was already provided for them. Animal was not eating human, and humans was not eating animals from the beginning. Sin brought that on. Transgression brought that on. Disobeying his voice brought sin into the animals and sin into the people, and they start competing and fighting and tasting one another's flesh. And they haven't stopped since then. But the animal that is still in the covenant of what he put forth from the beginning, they're not eating human. They're eating still the vegetation that they was commanded to eat and told what to eat. And the humans can't get back to it in the fullness of what they was told to eat, that they will be healthy and prosper and be in good health even as their soul prosper in his will. Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 17. This is when Yahweh was telling Jeremiah to do. And when he was telling him to do it, he was telling him to do it for a reason. On behalf of what was going to take place upon his people in the land. Gather your wares out of the land. Your stuff. Take your stuff up out of the land. Whatever you possess, take it up out of the land. And when he said this, O inhabitant of the fortress, of the dwelling place, in the place of the wilderness, places of wood, places that you need to leave one area and get to another area. You need to leave the city of concrete jungle and get to the fortress of wood. Root up yourself. Plant yourself somewhere else, because trouble is coming. And it's coming at the hour of visitation that you know not of. You don't know when it's going to hit. You don't know when a whirlwind going to take place, as you call a twister. You don't know when a volcano or earthquake going to take place. When it hit, it's not coming to spare the inhabitants of the land. It's coming to execute judgment when it pour out his wrath. And his wrath is in Yahweh. Yahweh allowed that to happen to the inhabitants of the land, the people. So he's telling them, get up, gather your stuff out of the land. Verse 18, for thus said Yahweh, behold, I will sling out the inhabitants of the land at this once, and will distress them. Now when you're leaving, and you're leaving out, most of the people try to leave out with joy and peace of their own gathering. Oh, we're moving to a new place. We leaving here and stuff. We're going to be joyful because we're rooting up, and we're going to plant ourselves somewhere else and stuff. And the joy is only temporarily until they get to that place. They got to start over, and they got more joy at the place that they enter into than the place that they left from. Because the place that they left from, distress was coming upon them. But you can't leave the spirit of distress. It's a spirit. And it comes from your maker and creator. And it giving obedience to do what it's supposed to do. Distress you. That's dealing with your brain, your heart, your blood pressure. In the midst of confusion, contention, arguing. You have no peace in your rooting up and planting again. But that's what he said he would do. Inhabitants of the land at this once, and he will once and will distress them, that they may find it so. They're going to find it so that when they left this place and got to this place, the distress came with them. It didn't leave because they did this and did that. Because something was taking place with this. And most people think stress comes from the devil. Most people think that the devil gives them stress. Doing wrong and doing evil. Lying, adulteries, fornication, deceit, malice, jealous, envy, wrath. All these spirits working against you, and you working against yourself by obeying them. And your mind is not clean, neither pure, that your mind can stay sober in righteousness and truth. You're reaping what you sowed because you sowed it in the land. The land is bringing it back to you because Yahweh said he would bring distress upon you. Now, that's not saying what you think it's saying. I'm going to tell you what it's saying, verse 18 here. For Yahweh said, behold, I will sling out the inhabitants of the land at this once, and will distress them. Who will distress them? He will. Distress them. Let's go in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 1. When we go to the book of Proverbs, you're going to see something else taking place here. What he is doing. Because he already said he was going to do this. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20. Wisdom cried without, she uttered her voice in the street. And to those that can hear her, she's uttering her voice in the midst of multitude of people. Turmoil, confusion everywhere. But wisdom is still trying to crowd in the street. She cried in the chief place of the noisy street concourse, in the opening of the gates. In the city she uttered her words, saying, to those that got ears to hear what she's saying, wisdom, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorner delight in their scorning. And fools hate knowledge. That was the question that wisdom is saying. How long will fool hate knowledge? For my people, Hosea 4:6 said, Yahweh, my people have been destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because they reject knowledge, I will also reject them. And fool hate knowledge. They don't want to be reproved or corrected by the knowledge of instruction. By telling you you have error or wrong versus right. And they hate to be corrected or instructed. Verse 23. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. See, the spirit was poured out many times, many times. Most people think it was just in the time of he pouring out his spirit according to the book of Joel, and the prophecy, and being fulfilled in the book of Acts. But it was poured out in many ways upon his people. But the people didn't want his spirit. They didn't want to receive his spirit. Because you can keep religion, idols, and image before you and worship them. And you can go to church, you can go to the synagogue, you can go to the mosque, you can go to any place you want to desire to worship. But you're the temple that the Spirit will have you to worship your Maker and Creator in. That temple, this body, this tabernacle. And you don't want to keep it holy or set apart in righteousness and truth, that Spirit can come in and abide with you to lead and guide you into all truth. But it can't lead you nowhere or guide you in anything because you're stubborn, rebelling, stiff-necked people. And the earth has came into a place that it has to execute Yahweh judgment upon the inhabitants of the land. I'm going to read on. Verse 24. Because I have called and you refuse. And many times he called you and you refuse. You heard the Spirit ministering to you. But then you refused it because you had to smoke. You had to drink. You had to fornicate. You had to commit adulteries. You had to lie. You had to steal. You had to rob. You had to kill. You refused to be corrected. You refused to be chastened when you were speaking wrong and doing wrong, because he was trying to draw you out of sin and iniquity from the spirit that had taken you. Because I call and you refuse, I have stretched out my hand and no man regardeth. Didn't pay attention to what Yahweh was doing with their life. They had no regard for their life in the earth. The earth was hosting them. The earth allowed your foot to be on dirt. And you went from dirt to concrete. And in concrete, you don't touch the earth or the dirt no more. In concrete, you're touching something that has put a difference between you and your Maker. So much that you love the making of the city more than you love your Creator and the ground that you came from. You love it. Because the city gives you the noise. It gives you the sound. It gives you the night light. It gives you everything you desire when you go out of your place. You're never walking on ground, the dirt under your feet. Satan took that away from you. And he put you in a place that you could not even know the presence of Yahweh trying to get you there. So the people that take a vacation and go out camping and go out to say they're trying to recover and they want to get some fresh air and they want to take their family, they can be in the wilderness, they can enjoy the outdoors and stuff. Distress still go with them. They still in the spirit of distress, but they know the way to go, but they're not going by the spirit that Yahweh want them to get up out of there. Leave the city, because my judgment going to come through there with great evil. Let's read on. But you have set at naught all my counsel, and was none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. This is the same one that you say you love. This is the same one you say won't do no judgment. He's not a creator of wrath, but of love. This is the same one. There's only one. This is the one that you say he loved everybody. And that's a lying spirit. He created and let everybody come through his creation. But he don't love the terrorists. He don't love the wicked and evildoers. He don't love people that commit adulteries and fornication and kill and shed innocent blood. That's not his love. He loved those that love him and walk upright in the spirit of truth and integrity, to be honest in their going out and coming in, and whatever they say and do, they try to fulfill it in the matter of truth. That's what he loved. So he said, I will laugh at your calamity, because he know when it's coming. You don't. You have no idea when calamity is coming upon you. You have no idea the big old house you got up in the hills and stuff, that you got big old fences around, that you got all your garden molecule and garden everywhere, that people come in and make a living to you off of their work, keeping your plantation clean and honorable, but your inside is dirty and filthy with all kinds of wickedness and great evil. And he gonna laugh at your calamity when it comes. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear comes, because it's coming. When your fear comes as a desolation, a storm, and your destruction come as a whirlwind, what just took place going up through the north from the west. The whirlwind left destruction in it path. Yahweh know which way he was going to direct it. He know which way it was going to turn to go in there. He know which way the wind was going to twirl and execute his judgment according to his will. Now this is the same one. The same one. That's telling you, when these things come upon you, he will have his day of vengeance. And he don't have to take vengeance. He just let his will be done. You reaping what you sow. You don't sow him in righteousness and truth, then he keep righteousness and truth far from you. So when the things begin to execute judgment upon the land, only thing left is the land barren. The land is empty. Your house, your car is turned upside down. Your plants, your water, everything else is turned upside down. But the land is still standing. The land is still there. Now Satan wanted to destroy the earth. And we'll get into that. As a whirlwind, when distress, and you can see, when distress and anguish come upon you. And that spirit, like I said, it's a spirit. It's going to come out and execute Yahweh's will, because he's going to send it forth, the spirit of distress. And when it get in your mind, you can't get rid of it because you're doing it. If you don't repent and ask for forgiveness, and knowing all the iniquity and sin that you have done, the spirit of distress will get stronger and stronger upon you. And that spirit will take that body right away from you. And most people can't and will not survive the spirit of distress, because they'll commit suicide. They'll turn to alcohol and drugs. Loneliness. It brings in all kinds of spirit with it. Because of the spirit of distress that came from heaven, that Yahweh said, put it upon these people. Go and execute my judgment. Because you have wronged. And you did it secretly. They thought you got by. and your house and your car and all these things you possess, you love them, but you can't love your maker to give you breath, life, and being, and give you the earth that you can live by. You can't love him, but you can love all the things around you that can't love you back. Let's read on. Then shall they call upon me. See, this is the denomination. When distress come and the land is being desolated because of an earthquake, volcano, whirlwind, hurricane, whatever take place, you're calling upon them. You ready to go to church then. You ready to have somebody pray for you. You ready to have somebody have pity on you. You ready for somebody, to call you out. Say, I help you. You're ready for that. But you was not ready for the day of visitation. So when you suffer these things, you try to call upon him. You don't care what name you call upon then. You call every name that you can breathe by to help you. But Yahweh is in one spirit and one name. So when you call upon him out of the breath of life in you, the spirit in you, the breath of life, he will not answer. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. And this is the reason why. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. See, the howling's not going to tell you to choose the fear of Yahweh. The howling going to tell you you're robbing Yahweh by not paying your tithes and offering. They're going to give you the faith teaching. They're going to damn your soul because it's not allowing you to produce any fruits. By no works. So you keep going on through your faith and you keep going on through your wickedness and evil ways that you want to mend your ways and you're doing. But when the land spew you out and sling you out, then you're trying to call upon your maker and creator by any name you choose. Because you won't help you survive, but none of your stuff that couldn't love you back didn't survive. And you're trying to get help in the way that you thought the church was there for you. But it's FEMA coming in for you, not a church. It's FEMA coming in to give you the things that you need, not a church. And when the church come in, they're expecting you to keep paying your support to that church. And the worst of the things will take place in the church. Because judgment going to start first in the house of Yahweh, what you call the church, the synagogue, the congregation of the people that gather together to trying to call upon his name. Say, I don't have to call the name. You can call Jesus, Muhammad, Allah, their titles to a name. You can call it any kind of nickname, make up any kind of name, they still gonna come out as a title to a name. But Abba is one name. Yahweh is one name. And you can blaspheme it any way you can. But the spirit still gonna deal with your flesh every way that they want to. And you can't stop it. Let's read on. For verse 29. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh, they was none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. See, when someone trying to reproof you of your ways and your attitude, you despise it. The spirit come upon you and despise truth, any kind of correction. That's the attitude of your behavior. Because you don't see that your life is just a moment of a vapor. It's gone the next moment. Anytime Yahweh desire for it to leave this earth. You're up under his mercy that he's giving you space in this earth before you die to know him and know his will for you. To accept Yeshua HaMashiach. To repent and be baptized in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. You don't need to be baptized at one time. You don't need to repent and turn from your evil wicked ways but one time. You don't need to keep trying to go to church and get righteousness through the church. You get righteousness through the spirit of truth. So when you repent, if something come your way to cause you to stumble, it's Satan, your adversary. And what you have to do is be honest enough to confess your fault one before another. Confess your fault before Yahweh, and he'll forgive you of your sin and cleanse you from all unrighteousness. And wherever you went, he'll clean up that place too, so the earth don't be defiled under the inhabitants of the people. Let's read on. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own device. So you eat the fruit of your own doing. You reap what you sow. You're not going to escape anything that you have done in secret and think no one knows. Everything that you have said and done is being done by the spirit of iniquity. When Yahweh try to correct you, try to instruct you, try to reproof you, you despise that. You don't want to be told what to do, when to do, and how to do it. But that's what he do to his people that love him. He lead us and guide us and direct our paths. Those that be the sons and daughters of Yahweh, he lead them through his spirit. He govern us. He govern us through his righteousness and truth by the Ruach Kadash. We don't need to go out and be in the midst of everybody trying to prove to everybody that we this and that and stuff. Hebrews everywhere throughout the four corners of the earth, all in religion, denomination, contention, violence, hate, and everything else. But they call themselves by a title Hebrews. But they don't have his spirit to manifest his goodness in the land of the living. You see, Yahweh showed Moshe all his goodness, but he couldn't see his face. No man can see his face and live. But all his goodness passed before him. You mean to tell me you don't want to see all his goodness in the land of the living? David said, I had fainted unless I believed to see the goodness of Yahweh in the land of the living. The goodness of him. Paul said in the book of Ephesians chapter 5 verse 9, for the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness, righteousness, and truth. When you get in all his goodness, righteousness, and truth, then the Spirit fill you up. Your cup is running over because you're in the land doing good to the land as well as the people that are in the land. You're not polluting it with your cigarette smoke, with your adulteries and fornication, with sharing innocent blood. You're living in truth, not trying to live in your wealth. Your wealth is temporarily. You're not taking none of that with you. You just put a surrounding around you that people can admire you and glory in it and spend a little time with it. When they see it's kind of bitter and there's too great of an evil and wicked, they get out. Then they'll come back and be a witness against you for all the evil that you have done. This is the people in the land. Why the land is polluted. Why I can't bear you no more. Let's read on. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. You're in the midst, you the fool, in the midst of somebody prospering, and you don't know which way they came. And you have no idea who they serving. But you do know they in sin. You just don't want to believe that they're serving the devil. The demons inhabit them. because they got prosperity all around them. What do it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? What can he give his change for it? Stuff. He'll give up his whole soul to have a big old house, money in the bank, and it's only to lead you and deceive you in the matter that you think you're prospering while you're losing your soul. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso listen unto me, hearken unto me, shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. That's Yahweh's word. That's his spirit that will have you in a quiet place in the fear from all evil that will be taking place around the inhabitants of the earth. Because the earth is doing it. And Yahweh is letting his judgment go forth into the earth. Now, you see distress over here in the book of Jeremiah, 10th chapter, verse 18, is upon those that root up and plant somewhere else. And Yahweh said, I will bring distress on you. There's no cure. You can take every social repeal medication you want to do for the spirit of distress. And you're just going to get worse and worse until you kill yourself or someone kill you. Because that spirit is death angels. That spirit that come upon you is the same spirit came down in Egypt upon the firstborn. Death angels that brought distress upon Pharaoh and his household. That refused to let Yahweh people go, Hebrew, us, to serve him. And when they were found and let go, his signs and wonders by his work was to be kept throughout all generations, to know who delivered them from the house of bondage and from the house of affliction, that they may serve him all the days of their life. Because Pharaoh's still there. He ain't gone nowhere yet. That is Satan. Satan had Pharaoh in his hand. And Yahweh showed his signs and wonders unto Pharaoh, that Satan may see your season is coming to an end too. You got a season. And it's going to come to the end. So Satan know his season is coming, but you don't know. That's why he sent his prophets and apostles to warn you. To tell you his holy men that he gave gift unto, to preach and teach and minister unto you. So you be without excuse in the day of judgment. When he tell you was none of my reproof, you didn't heed none of my counsel. You despised all my correction, because you loving something that couldn't love you back more than you love your creator that gave you the breath of life. And I took my breath back from you, and now you stand before me as a living soul, and you got to give account for every deed that you done when you was in the earth and taken from the earth. You got to give account. You ain't going to somewhere and think that you in the earth and you ain't got to give account for everything you said and done in the earth. And that you're going to go to heaven and you're going to be singing hallelujah. No, it ain't going to go like that. They'll be singing and weeping and gnashing of teeth in the lake of fire that will prepare for the devil and his angel. That going to be a groaning singing. Because you got to give account in the day of judgment. So while you in this earth, you're supposed to show honor and respect and goodness on behalf, walking the earth, living in the earth, treating people with goodness, righteousness, and truth. If you treat them with lies, deceit, and malice, and envy, and jealousy, you think these things not being written down against you? Let's read on. That was taking place for the spirit of distress that is in the land, that Yahweh was telling how this spirit is coming upon the people in the land. Now the other thing is that you're going to see that taking place here in this earth. We'll go back to Genesis chapter 1. We'll go to Genesis chapter 1. We'll start right here. Chapter 1 verse. We're going to start at verse 1. So I can read this. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heaven and the earth. Not the heavens, not a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 earth. Just this earth. Just this earth. He created. This is singular. One earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of Yahweh moved upon the face of the waters. And Yahweh said, let there be light, and there was light. And Yahweh saw the light, that it was good. And Yahweh divided the night from the darkness. And Yahweh called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning was the first day. See, every day that you see evening, right here, every day that you see evening and the morning, is still dealing with what he said he brought forth. Man couldn't have did this. When you say good morning every morning, when you say, oh, it's a lovely day, when you say the night the stars are shining bright, he did this. This his doing. But you don't honor him with his doing. And Yahweh called, verse 5, the light day, and the darkness he's called night, and the evening and the morning was the first day. And Yahweh said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the water. Let it expand, let it be a firmament, and let it divide the water from the waters. So there's a division taking place. He divided it. Water above and water beneath. He put a division in the midst of this right here. And Yahweh made the firmament and divided the water which were under the firmament from the water which were above the firmament, and it was so. He did this. And when it rained from heaven, the earth gathered the water and making sure that it don't overflood you. That it come to produce for the trees, produce for the food that you need to eat from the vegetation that the water bring nourishment to. And Yahweh said, let the water under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. The dry land that you walk on. Now Satan has made sure he put concrete over everything you walk on. You're not walking on dry land no more. You have to go out into the wilderness, to the mountain, and walk on dry land. To feel like you still connected to the part of the earth. Because if you stay in the city long enough, and you born in this city, only thing you used to is the concrete that separate you between your creation. Satan has put a division between you. Just like Yahweh divided the firmament. He divided you from your maker that you can't even walk upon dry land. You can't do it. And Yahweh called the dry land earth. You want to have an earth day. One day out of the year to call earth day. Just like you call mother day, father day. One day out of the year you think you giving honor unto your mother and father that has played the whore and been a whoremongering every day of their life. They have lied and deceived every day of their life. But they want honor from something that the president said back in 1932. Let's make women's mothers a holiday for all mothers. All mothers got a holiday. All fathers got a holiday. We're giving them a day to celebrate themselves. so their children can come to them and celebrate them. But their mother and their father can't serve their maker every day of their life. And through that day, the lead up until they call Mother Day and Father Day, the scripture said, honor your mother and your Abba and your Emma every day of your life, that your days may be prolonged upon the face of the earth. Because every day you walk and move and have your being, you are upon the earth. You're not up somewhere else on another planet, in another galaxy. You're here, right here, earth, every day. And yet earth has been disrespected by you every day. And you want to give honor to your parents that disrespect the earth every day in their deeds and their wickedness and their evil ways and their lying and deceit. But you want to give them a day to be honored. Yahweh didn't give this a day to be honored. He gave it every day that you move and have your being to honor him upon the dry land. Because if he take away the dry land, you only got water around you. And having water around you, you can think these movies trying to prepare you for what's coming, but you can't live upon the water every day of your life. You was not created that way. You was created to live here in the earth on dry land every day of your life. Let's read on. And Yahweh said, let the earth bring forth grass, tender grass, and herbs, yearning seed. Herbs, yearning seed. Something that gonna help you. Something gonna give you nutrition, body needs. Because this was here first before man and woman came. Yahweh knew what they needed, so they wouldn't have to buy or purchase this. It was already there. Now everything you get from the earth, unless you grow it, you're buying it. And the things that they buy and sell to you today, that you buy and they sell to you, has all kinds of artificial stuff in it. GMO in every processed way it is and stuff. So that your body is not tasting the goodness of Yahweh in the land of the living. And some of you all don't care. But let's see this here. And the fruit trees, yielding fruit after his kind. All the fruit trees that you can even imagine after their kind was given for us to eat. For us to know the taste of that which was good from the beginning. To eat an animal flesh is not good. The animal don't want to eat your flesh. It's not good for them. But because the taste of blood and eating of the flesh, both of them became cannibalism. You killed and hunt something that want to live just like you in the land. You kill and take their carcass and leave it there for something else to consume it. And the same thing the animal do with your carcass, when they get it, they leave the bone for something else to consume it. Because of sin. But from the beginning, it was not so. Let's read on. Whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. The seed is in itself to reproduce for multitudes of us human beings. We say human, then we say beings. We got a being, but the body is human, is of the earth. It's not of the heavenly. And being of the earth is human, but the beam is from heaven. And we do not separate it. We just accept it. And we forget about the human nature, what was given to it. How to eat, how to live, how to walk, and how to talk. Not to do violence one to another and shed innocent blood. Let's read on. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the trees yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind, and Yahweh saw that it was good. Yahweh saw that this is good. His creation was good. He saw that it was good. Well, nothing wrong with it. He didn't make an error or mistake like you do. He made it good. And he made it good throughout your lifespan in the earth. It was good for us. And the evening and the morning was the third day. And Yahweh said, let there be light in the firmaments of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Now he worked on this right here. And he put this in for time of season, days and years. That we'll know the season from winter to summer to spring to fall. When to grow, when to plant, when to sow, when to reap. When we know that, we begin to operate in that. We must get our seed into the ground to bring forth our fruit so we can gather it. We can also sell it. And we also can eat from it. And we also should let the poor glean the field. But that gleaning process is gone. People that got land don't let the poor come in and glean it. They don't want nobody, they think, on their property, their land. The earth is Yahweh. His land, not your land. If anything, you have stewardship that you should show how to. Psalm chapter 41, verse 1 said, blessed is he that considereth the poor, for Yahweh shall deliver them in the time of trouble. If you don't consider the poor don't have food enough to eat, and you growing the vegetation of these things and stuff, let them come. Don't try to make them work for their food in that matter. The field need gleaning. Don't try to set everything for a profit. Let them come and glean it. It's more blessing to give than it is to receive. But everybody that got this land that they possess in wealth didn't get it by righteousness and truth. Their ancestors took it by force and violence. And the curse is up under them because it was taken that way from the ones that was inhabited and in stewardship that was caring for the earth. And you want to figure out who that was? Or do you know who that was? So the land did not come by honor and righteousness. It came by force and violence, taking it from the settles that was here already settled before you came. Let's read on. And Yahweh made the two great light, and the great light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule by night. And he made the stars also. Now this is what it took place right here, and I want you to see this right here. I'm going to go ahead in verse 29. And you're going to see how Yahweh dealt with this in this earth right here. And all this right here, the beasts and the cattle after their kind, and everything he did, and Yahweh saw that it was good. And Yahweh made man in his image and likeness, and Yahweh made this right here take place and stuff. And I want to read to you in verse 29, verse 31. And Yahweh said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth. All the earth is everywhere. The four corners on the earth is spread it out. And every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for food. This was the beginning. It shall be for food. and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for food. And it was so. Now, how you get around this is that you take violence by nature that your father taught you, and your mother did it also. And they put that spirit upon you, and you did it from your ancestor, going all the way back to almost 5,000-6,000 years ago. That people forgot Yahweh and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. Now for me, he brought me back to Eden when he reconciled me through Yeshua. Yeshua came to reconcile his people back into Abba, reconciles back to our Creator. He reconciles back in the spirit of our Creator to obey his voice. And when he reconciled us back to him, we went back into the beginning. Isaiah chapter 46. We'll turn to Isaiah chapter 46. And we'll see here what he said. I said from the beginning. Isaiah chapter 46 verse start at verse 8. I want to get to 10. Remember this and show yourself men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. That means you're a transgressor. If you can't obey his spirit, obey his law, you are a transgressor. I mean, you walk to break laws and statutes and commandments. You break them by dishonoring what was told you should do. And you say you ain't going to do it, though I know it's right, I'm going to break it. I ain't going to do it. That make you a transgressor. So when you die, you will stand before him as a transgressor. And your place will be found in the lake of fire. Because you did it in the earth and died that way. You reap what you sow when you stand before the day of judgment. This is what he said, verse 9. Remember the former things of old. And I'm trying to get you to remember the former things of old here. I'm trying to get you to understand of old from the beginning. This was not so what you're doing now. For I am Yahweh, the Creator, and there is none else. Wherever you want to search out, whatever you want to say, there's none else. I went in Genesis to read to you. The scribes messed up a lot. But they can't deal with his Ruach Kadesh. They can't mess that up. Because they can't touch it. They don't know which way the spirit go or come. So are those that are born in the spirit. They don't know, they hear the sound of, but they cannot tell from where it comes or where it goes. Those are the ones that are born in the spirit. You can't mess up our spirit. You can only try to afflict this tabernacle, this body. But the spirit belonging to Yahweh, he lead and guide it whatsoever he will. So what he's saying here, there is none else that can do what I have done. You can take your image, your idols. You can take all the witchcraft, sorcery. You can take all your movies that you produce through Hollywood. Through all the things that they invent now. Through these producers. The imagination that come in their mind to produce movies that you wouldn't believe the imagination how it got in their mind to produce these kind of things. There's none else but Yahweh. They all gonna come to an end. When this take place, and there is none else, I am Yahweh, and there is none like me. He declared, there's none like me. Whatever you try to figure out, there's none like him. Whatever way you try to go and shortcut you try to take, there's none like him. There's nowhere you can go, nowhere you can hide. There's nothing you can do against his word because it gonna fulfill it. It's not gonna return unto him void. Declaring the end from the beginning. Now, if he's declaring the end, and you always want to know what's taking place in your life today, you know the end is coming upon you. But you're not discerning the beginning. What took place to bring forth the end of the world. Your world first. Then the earth has its end, because there'll be a new heaven and new earth. But you're going to come to an end first before the heaven and earth come to an end. And when it takes place, he has already declared the end from the beginning. So in the beginning right here, Genesis chapter 29, verse 30, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and everything that creep upon the earth, where there is life, I have given every green herb for food. And it was so. And Yahweh saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning was the sixth day. So everything that he saw in the evening and the morning of the sixth day was very good. When he, Yeshua, reconciled me back to Yahweh and placed me back in Eden in my mind and spirit, I no longer was eating transgression. I wasn't eating that which I should not eat. I wasn't shedding blood of the creatures because I wasn't going to consume them. And I've been this way 46 years back to Eden. And I've been ministering 46 years, seasons of life, back to Eden. Because he brought me back to Eden, declaring the end so I can have a beginning. And once you get a beginning, you don't have to get to the end to find the result of what you're doing. You can stay with him in Eden. And whatever takes place in the earth, he's there. He will never leave you nor forsake you. He'll be with you always, even until the end of the world or the end of your life. Which one comes first? But he brought you back to Eden. And bringing you back to Eden, you should eat the way that he told you to eat. Because the animals that are not transgressors don't kill other animals to eat them. They still eat off the fruit of the vine. They still eat off the trees, the air herbs, and things that going to give them the vitamin K. They chlorophyll. So they can be strong and healthy, and their body can continue to reproduce of their kind. But humans that consume flesh, cannibalism, eating flesh and killing them, don't think they won't kill you in the day of famine. They'll eat you too, because it's been done already on the sun. What is taking place now is that the earth is going to vomit you out in its judgment because you have defiled it. But Yahweh said he declared the end from the beginning, and from the ancient time, the things that are not yet done. It ain't been done yet. He declared from the ancient time that it's going to be done, but it ain't done yet. And I just told you cannibalism. Cannibalism has been done, but you have not experienced it in the city of this century. You have not experienced. You see the movies of The Walking Dead. How can a man's mind produce a movie like that? Through thoughts and imagination. Who will give them those thoughts and imagination? Satan. Satan is showing you that the end ain't going to be like this. So Yahweh is trying to warn you, you need to come back to Eden. You need to come back and start eating from the vegetation that I brought forth from the beginning for you to live by. Don't kill anything and take the life out of it when it want to live like you do. Oh, but we're different. Well, let's see then. In the book of Ecclesiastes, I just told you, you shouldn't be taking these things, life out of them, then eating them. Book of Ecclesiastes. Find this. Praise Yahweh. Hallelujah. Chapter 3, verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that the wicked was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. Both of these things are there at this place of judgment. And I said in my heart, Yahweh shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose, for every work. Now, this is the time that you need to have understanding concerning the land and why the animals are not transgressors that is not eating flesh. You are a transgressor if you eating flesh. And no righteousness is going to come out of that. Whatever you say, if you don't kill them, you go to the grocery store because they pack it up and put it in a nice looking pack for you, still consuming the flesh of an animal. Let's read. Verse 18. I said in my mind, heart, concerning the inner state of the Son of Man, that Yahweh may manifest them, that they may see that they themselves are beasts. Yahweh may manifest it, may show it to you that you yourself has a beast nature. Manifest this. Let's manifest it to you, so you'll be without excuse what nature you have as a transgressor. For that which befall the Son of Man befall the beast. If a bullet hits you, you're going to bleed. If they don't save you and stop you from bleeding, the breath of life going to leave you and you're going to die. That's what befall you. If you shoot an animal with a gun, the bullet hit it, it going to die. The blood going to leave the animal and the spirit going to leave. And it going to die if there's no one to help it. Both of you befall the same thing. This is manifesting. It's happening. But you don't see it because you're blind, because you won't come back to Eden. You won't come into judgment to find righteousness and truth. And you won't health because you want to run down to Egypt and think they can take your organs, replace it, put stem cell, put plastic, heart, everything else inside of you. Then you just turn right back around and consume the same thing that caused that problem. You're reaping what you sow. For that which befall the Son of Man befall beasts, even one thing befall them. As the one dies, so dies the other. The same thing, the bullet. Or sickness, or disease. Befall the human, befall the beast, they die. Bird flu, swine flu, mad cow disease. They die. And if you eat it and you mess with it, you die. Both of these things befall one another. Let's read on. Yes, they have all one breath. And this is what you're forgetting. When you hunt them, you're hunting them. And you kill them. You take the breath of life from them. If someone was hunting your wife, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, stalking them to hunt them, then kill them, they took the breath of life out of them. And you want revenge. Because they're gone, because the breath of life is gone. The same thing with the animal. The same thing. The animals are running for their life. Just like the slaves of old that came to this country that wanted to be free, wondering why they were forced on the ship and brought to a country. In their wrongdoing, turning from Yahweh as Hebrew people, they still had a chance to say, I'm a free man. I'm a free woman. Why are you caging me? Why are you putting me in the market street to sell me off like I'm a livestock? And the livestock is saying the same thing to his creator. Why are they selling me and butchering me and killing me? They take the breath of life out of me that you gave to me. They didn't give it. You ain't gave nobody the breath of life. But you'll take that breath out of them. So when the slave was running, they was running for their life. Just like the animals are doing. Running for their life. Well, you know where they're running at? On dry land. And when you kill them and take the breath of life out of them, then the land is moaning. The land is grieved. Because the land is alive. It's producing fruit for you to eat. The land is alive because it got herb bearing seed for you to eat. It needs to be watered. It's alive. The animals know that, but you haven't been made manifest yet. You'll know it if you hear this. Let's read on. Verse 19. They have all one breath, so that a man had no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity. You ain't got no authority to say that you need to go out there and take the breath off an animal and kill them. When he gave you dominion over every fish, over every animal, everything that creep upon the face of the earth, from the beginning, he never told you to kill them. He never told you can take the breath of life out of them and do as you will. He gave you dominion that you will know how to live among them and be example before them as they are before you. You take a dog and cat that don't eat human flesh, and you know you have to be an example before them. You train them, you show them your love and kindness, and they love you and obey you. You take a lion, a crocodile, and you go out there try to domesticate them to show you them that you love them, and they will eat you. The reason why? Because they are transgressors. You at them and they start eating you. Now they don't stop eating you until they die. The breath of life leave them just like it leave you. But you at them all the way up until you die. You at flesh all the way up until you die. When the doctor tell you you need to change and stop eating meat, then you'll heed the doctor warning, but you won't heed this warning. From the beginning, it was not so. Yahweh declared the end from the beginning. Isaiah 46 chapter, Isaiah 46 chapter verse 10. And he manifests this, the ancient time, from the time to come, have not yet came. He's still trying to show it to you that you're violating his laws and commandments. his testimony, his precept. Well, in the Bible, they sacrifice animals. The scribe even made Yahweh sacrifice animals. The scribe did. But if you go from the beginning, that means that Yahweh is truth and cannot lie. From the beginning, it was not so. That's why in the book of Matthew, 18 chapter, let's go to the book of Matthew, but you can see what Yeshua said. Matthew. Matthew 19 chapter. Forgive me. I say 18, 19 chapter Matthew. Verse 7 and 8. This is what the Pharisees and the scribe came to Yeshua concerning the matter. You see the Pharisee, verse 3 here, came to him talking about these matters. And they said unto him, why did Moses then command to give a written of divorce man to put her away? Ask him that question. Why did Moshe give them a bill of divorcement to put her away? Yeshua said unto them, Moses, because the hardness of your mind, your heart, suffer you to put away your wife, allow you, permit you, temporarily, to put her away. Look what he said after that. But from the beginning, it was not so. Yeshua took them back to the beginning. Because it was not so from the beginning that a man could put away his wife. He created one to be with the other. And he put his spirit in the midst of those two and they became one. So a man could not, and the woman could not leave her husband, and the man could not put her away. Because the hardness of their hearts, sin got in. They started putting them away and started marrying somebody else. With the same word that they love him, that they told the first one they love. Now they telling the second or the third or the fourth one they love. Same word, cliche, love, but it was not of the spirit. This what he was saying in Isaiah, declaring the end from the beginning. Now, we're going back over here to Ecclesiastes. Verse 20. All go into one place. All of the dust. Now, if you say you from somewhere else, you're lying. If you say you don't have dust in your body, dirt, then get in the dirt and wash your body and see what come with that. Dirt from washing out and dirt from where you came, the dust of the ground. It's upon us. We're part of the tabernacle, is a part of the clay that you was made from. And all turn to dust again. So you go and dig up a body, you see only the skull. And you go and dig it up a week from the time you bury it, and you'll see it carcass decaying back into which it came from. The same thing with the animal. The same thing. But you don't care that you take the breath out of an animal because you say, this is the way I survive, I got to eat this way. No, that's your transgression doing it that way. Because you won't obey him. When he try to correct you and counsel you and instruct you in the way that you should eat, the way you should live, the way you should walk, the way you should talk, and do violence to no man and no beast. The earth was created for all of us. We all live on this same land. That's why the land will spew you out. Because you're the violent one. You start doing violence to the animal, and the animals start responding, communicating when they lost their communication with human. When they lost that communication to know the human, then you use force and violence against them. The one that don't eat you will serve you. But you have something in you that you don't understand. The same breath before an animal that you hunt and kill is the same breath you live by, and you've been hunt and killed. You don't have authority over them in the manner that you think you can do to them as you please, because he didn't tell you to kill. He did not tell you in the beginning to do that. And he declared the end from the beginning. The ancient from the time of things to come that is not seen yet. Verse 20, all go into one place and all of the dust, and all turn to the dust again. Who knows the spirit of man that go upward, and the spirit of the beast that go downward to the earth? That's a question. Do you know? You take the breath of life from the beast. Do you know which way the spirit go? The body of man and the body of beast go back to the dust from which it came. Now, which way the spirit go, do you know? No, you have no idea to know which way it go, because you don't know which way yours go. That was in judgment. Moreover, verse 16, moreover I saw in the sun the place of judgment, that the wicked was there, in the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. And I said in my mind, Yahweh shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. So you have no idea which way the spirit go. But you take the breath of life out of an animal, and you consume that in your body. And not knowing you took that animal, when you killed them, they was last breath was in distress. Was in distress. And when you start eating it, when they market it in the meat factory and upon your tables, you eating an animal that died in distress. You think you're going to have health and prosper? You think you're going to have health and be in good health as your soul prosper? No. No, you're not. You're reaping what you have sown, and sickness and disease going to come upon you all kinds of ways, and none of physician can heal you. They'll just wait for you to die, and now Satan has made sure that you be a donor of your organs. So when you die, they can put it in somebody else. But they'll die the same way if they're eating meat. And they'll keep transplanting organs to organs of the body. One body to another body. Wherefore I perceive that there is nothing better that a man should rejoice in his own work, for that is his portion. For who shall bring him to see what shall be after him? Nobody gonna bring you to see what's gonna be after you. Only thing you're gonna see in that soul, you're gonna wake up and have to give account how you lived and what you done in this earth. Now I want to read something to you very important. I'm going back to Genesis. And I'm going to start in Genesis chapter 41. And it's going to deal with something that is taking place